and vote after the floor votes, however long that lasts. So the first motion is the Luna motion to subpoena Neville Singham. It's now brought under consideration. Does any member wish to speak on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment to the motion.
State your amendment.
Thank you. Pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, the committee shall subpoena Lex Wexner to serve for deposition before the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform.
Les Wexner is the funding mechanism for Epstein. Do it.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to explain the amendment briefly.
Okay. Explain your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an amendment, of course, to Representative Luna's motion. Lex Wexner is a longtime benefactor of Jeffrey Epstein, and at one point was Epstein's only documented client. Maria Farmer was abused in a house attached to Wexner's Ohio property and guarded by Wexner security staff. Virginia Giffrey was named Wexner in a deposition as one of the men she was trafficked to. Wexner also paid for Epstein's home in New York City. There is probably no one more important as it relates to the financing and the work of this investigation, with which both sides of the aisle are interested in, have voted to move forward, than ensuring that we bring Mr. Wexner in to come and be deposed by this committee. Public reporting has documented their long-standing ties. He should answer our questions in a non-partisan way to get the truth to the Epstein investigation, and that is the motion.
Would you, let's see, so I guess we're going to debate the amendment to the motion. Would you yield to a question?
Sure.
We are serious about the Epstein investigation, and I think you've seen a lot of our members stand up and make it very clear they want to get to the bottom of Epstein. Nobody wants to do it more than I do. We also want to hear from Bill Clinton, and we voted a bipartisan manner to subpoena Bill Clinton, but we haven't gotten confirmation for President Clinton to come in for a transcribed interview or now a deposition. So are you all going to help us try to get Clinton in? I figure you guys.
I've been very clear, and I think the committee agrees that we're willing to talk to anyone, including the former president, if they have information regarding the Epstein investigation. And so the motion in front of us right now is on Lex Wexner, who is central to the Epstein investigation and probably knows more than anyone else about the financing and has been named by survivors. So that is in addition to Luna's motion, which, if part of the amendment, we can certainly take that vote.
Okay. Any other discussion on the Garcia amendment? Ms. Stansbury.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo my support for this subpoena and say two things. One, this is not a quid pro quo. This is an investigation, and so we will subpoena and support subpoenas for any co-conspirator and anyone who has evidence that's important in this case. Secondly, I want to note that this individual is actually named in the Department of Justice emails that were released in the partial release by the administration as one of the 10 co-conspirators the Department of Justice was investigating and was actually named. Okay. And finally, I just want to say this, Mr. Chairman. The Department of Justice has released, as we understand it, only 1% of the files in their possession, and I think we really want to know why this committee is not demanding the DOJ come in front of us immediately to account for this. And with that, I yield back.
Any other, Ms. Luna, your request to speak on the Garcia amendment to your motion?
I think that this is a sound motion for subpoena because Les Wexner has been named by victims and also too is in a number of documentaries. But I would like to at least offer my opinion and refute what Ms. Stansbury said regarding some of the files that have been released. There have been thousands of files released, so much so that, yes, there have been redactions, but most of the redactions, to my knowledge, have been pertaining to either CSAM materials and or victim information. I know that in one instance there was potentially a breach of that, of which the DOJ immediately corrected. But we have also been working, at least my office has, with the Department of Justice to make sure that victims have received their direct information. So please understand, at least from my perspective, that it is not our opinion that there have been a holdback. I do know that the documents are on a rolling basis as well, similar to the other declassified files. However, aside from that, I do support Garcia's amendment, and I would encourage my colleagues to do so.
All right, any other discussion of the Garcia amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, of the Garcia amendment to the Luna motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to.
We want a recorded vote? Don't we? No. Actually, no, we don't.
Okay, so the now the debate is on the. Does any member wish to speak on the Luna motion as amended? Representative Luna.
Just so everyone is tracking, Neville Singham was referred to the Department of Justice, I believe, for FARA violations by then Senator Rubio when he served on the Senate Foreign Intelligence or Senate Intelligence Committee. Neville Singham, regardless of what you might feel about your colleagues, has been a mechanism and funding arm of the Chinese Communist Party. He's not a registered agent by FARA and has been connected to a number of riots, to include the anti-ICE riots being funded in Los Angeles, as well as a group that was tied to and being investigated for the assassination of Charlie Kirk, known as, I think it was a group of Socialism and Liberation, and then also to has been avoiding our request for him to come bring information to Congress. He is definitely someone that is anti-American in ideology, and regardless of where you might stand, even on topics like Israel versus Palestine, is funding certain groups that actually sow discord in this country with no efforts to actually resolve the issues, only to get us to fight one another. So I would encourage you all, at least if you don't politically agree with one another, to at least respect the fact that he is a known foreign agent to China, has not been registered as such, has been made to fund riots, and has been known to be the result of many of our own Americans being targeted with violence. And as a result of that, I do think that he should face subpoena. In the event that he's not subpoenaed, or that he does not answer the subpoena, I will be making a motion for inherent contempt. And I encourage my colleagues to support this motion.
Luna yields back. Min. Representative Min.
Thank you. Being new to this committee, I guess I'm just curious why this is happening in this hearing and why we didn't have a chance to review this subpoena with some notice, so that, you know, as much as I want to appreciate what you say and just take it at face value, we're all learning this right now, and it doesn't really give us a lot of time to do our research to determine the validity of your subpoena requests. And so I just really, from a procedural perspective, I'm just curious if this is normal.
If I can respond and answer. Yeah, okay.
Do you yield to Luna or Garcia?
I'll yield to Garcia first.
No, I just want to add that I understand those concerns. I'm going to recommend that we vote yes on the Luna motion. I think the representative made clear her support for the deposition that we're going to have with Mr. Wexner, and so that's going to be my recommendation for our committee.
And if I could just answer the question. So as part of the rules, if subpoenas are not sent in the traditional fashion through the chairman, individual members can actually make motions where the committee as a whole can vote on it. And so because Neville Singham has been avoiding receipt of our request for him to come in and just give basic information, because he has been known to be funding these groups that are literally causing us to eat each other alive, even sometimes within the House of Representatives, I do think that he needs to answer for that. And so to answer your question, that is why I made the motion today.
Any other members wish to speak? Seeing none, all those in favor of the Luna motion as amended by the Garcia amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion as amended is agreed to. Next up is the Luna motion number 2 to subpoena Jonathan Greenblatt. Does any member wish to speak on the motion? Ms. Luna.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment.
Okay, wait. We'll do your amendment first. Okay.
Thank you. I have an amendment to Representative Luna. Pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, the committee shall subpoena Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi to testify in a hearing before the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. And I have some comments if you'd like to recognize those now.
All right, state your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to recognize a motion. We, of course, had a big hearing today, and we certainly shouldn't just be concerned with fraud that could be happening in states with Democratic governors, but also those with Republican governors. Fraud should be looked at anywhere it happens. The Wall Street Journal on Monday reported a massive Mississippi welfare scandal. Mississippi has seen years of scandals under multiple governors, but we have been silent as a committee. We didn't have any witnesses from Mississippi here today, and oversight Republicans aren't calling in Governor Tate. So this is an opportunity for the American people to hear about fraud wherever it occurs, and this motion will do just that, and I yield back.
Okay, now I'll recognize Mr. Luna to speak on the Garcia amendment to your motion number 2.
Fraud is fraud. I support this. I encourage my colleagues to do it. Doesn't matter if they're Republican or not. If he's guilty of it, bring him in.
All right. Any other debate?
Mr. Chairman, I am wondering if the gentleman would allow me to move to amend his amendment to include the governor of Arizona, who admitted that they had $2.5 billion worth of fraud in Medicaid fraud just a year ago. The Attorney General did.
Okay. This is where my FFA parliamentary procedure came in place. Ellie, you can back me up. Amendment, there's a motion to amend the amendment. Do we go into that motion? All right. So Mr. Biggs has made an amendment to the Garcia amendment to the Luna motion. Does anyone wish to speak on the Biggs amendment to the amendment? And his is a subpoena the Arizona governor, right? Okay.
Look, I'm glad that the representative wants to subpoena his opponent in the governor's race. Just to be clear,
if it makes you happy, I'll say not her. Let's bring in the AG.
no, I mean just to be
Let's
clear.
bring in the AG.
Thank you, sir. Since I have the floor, I just want to say that my amendment is clear. We heard from one state today. I think it's important that we hear from Governor Tate of Mississippi. That's the amendment that I'm going to let stand as presented. If other motions are made, we can vote on those as appropriate.
Chair recognizes Mr. Biggs to specify his amendment to the amendment on who we're...
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to reword my amendment as instead of the governor of Arizona, if you want the Attorney General. Because the Attorney General is the one who stood up a year and a half ago and said that she had discovered $2.5 billion worth of waste in Arizona's Medicaid program, and that we need to find out more about that. So I'm content with doing that. And I just find it hilariously hypocritical to say, well, we want the dude from Mississippi because he's a Republican, but when you want to bring in someone from my home state, not even running against me, okay, that's why I moved it, and to say, well, we can't do that. Can't do that because that would be, I don't know, it's just because this is the cycle you guys chose to get on. She has admitted, the Attorney General, that there's $2.5 billion worth of waste in the Medicaid program. I submitted that for the record earlier today, and well, let's have at it.
Will the gentleman yield?
Okay. So the amendment to the amendment is to subpoena the Arizona Attorney General. Does anyone wish to speak on the amendment to the amendment?
I'll speak after Ms. Crockett.
Mr. Crockett. Ms. Crockett.
I just wanted to clarify, because I think the gentleman from Arizona said that this was over a year and a half ago, if I'm correct. Is that correct?
You asking me to yield? Yeah, I'll yield. Which question?
So you said over a year and a half ago?
No, it was. I believe it was last summer, about a year ago.
Okay, so about a year ago, there was an opportunity for you as a representative, and presumably before you were actually running for office. I think the concern is about using federal dollars to further political aspirations. And as someone who was representing Arizona, there should have been an opportunity for you to do something to try to subpoena. You could have tried to open an investigation. We know that the Republicans are the ones that control this committee and have controlled this committee for some time. So I just wanted to say that I definitely am opposed to this particular portion of the, I guess it's the amendment to the amendment.
Yeah.
Chair recognizes Mr. Fallon to speak on the amendment to the amendment.
Yeah, I support the amendment to the amendment because, I mean, a lot of us served in the state legislature. I did for 8 years in the House and Senate in Texas. This is a systemic problem across all states. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars of criminals and scumbags stealing money that's not going to where it's intended. So I don't give a rat's nuggets if it's Arizona, Mississippi, wherever. We need to be rooting this stuff out. So I'm fully in support of Mr. Biggs, and I think your efforts are noble. I yield back. Or I yield to Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, I appreciate the gentleman from yielding. I do find it rich to say, oh, you should have subpoenaed this a year ago, just like you guys could have subpoenaed anybody you wanted to a year ago as well. So let me just add to this by saying our current governor is being investigated. And I don't want to get into that because she is currently being investigated for corruption and abuse. I'm not trying to get into that. What I'm trying to get into is what I thought we'd reach some comity here, that we are going to be going after fraud wherever it sits in these social welfare programs. And so you didn't like it, you thought that might be doing it for political purposes. It's not for political purposes. This is because Arizona has a systemic problem in their Medicaid program of $2.5 billion fraud that the Democrat Attorney General pointed out. Let's have her come in and explain how this has happened and what needs to be done to fix the systemic problems in Arizona. Maybe that would be helpful to fix the problems nationwide. That's all. Yield back to the gentleman from Texas. Thank you.
Gentleman from Texas, you.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Chair recognizes Mr. Garcia for the amendment on the amendment.
Thank you. Just a final comment on this. I oppose the amendment, and here's very clear. Today we talked about 5 states, all states with Democratic governors, focused on one. The motion that we're making as an amendment is very clear. It's to bring in one Republican governor in comparison to what the majority has proposed in the past, and that's where we're leaving it. And so at a minimum, the majority should want to bring in one Republican compared to the 6 that we discussed today. And so we're going to oppose this.
Would you yield?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm fine if there's fraud in any state. Will you work with us to get Walz back in here so he can have an opportunity to defend what was stated today? Are you going to work with us on that?
I think that Governor Walz right now is looking at coming into the committee. Obviously, I'm happy to have anyone in front of us that's willing to explain and
well,
talk to the American public about.
A lot of people are looking, but I mean, are they going to do it?
We're willing, oversight Democrats are willing to talk to any person, any governor, any person that can be in front of us so that we can explain issues that are important to the American public. We have no issue with Governor Walz coming in to testify.
Any other members speak? Recognition on the Biggs amendment to the Garcia amendment. Mr. Perry.
Mr. Chairman, if it will make it less political, if the maker of the secondary amendment would like me to offer it in his name, coming from nowhere close to Arizona, to subpoena the Arizona Attorney General regarding her statements about known fraud in Arizona, I'd be happy to do that. Well, then, since he's willing to do it, we can then.
Well, he would have to, Mr. Biggs would have to withdraw his amendment to the amendment.
Can we get back to Greenblatt?
Then I'll withdraw and leave it in your capable hands.
The gentleman has withdrawn, and then I'll make the same motion to subpoena as a secondary amendment to the primary amendment to the primary resolution, the Attorney General from Arizona regarding her position and statements on fraud in Arizona in the Medicaid program.
We want to make sure everybody understands this. Representative Biggs has withdrawn his amendment to the amendment, and now Mr. Perry has filed an amendment to the amendment in the same language to subpoena the Arizona Attorney General. Does everyone understand that? Okay, now, do any Democrats wish? Mr. Min, you've had your hand up over there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciated our conversation earlier today when you expressed very clearly that this should not be a partisan committee, that we should go after fraud in all forms, and at which point you also agreed that having some kind of investigative hearing into Mississippi might be appropriate. I appreciate your support of this amendment to the bill. If we're going to have amendments to amendments, I guess the one question I have, and this might be a proposal, The inspector generals were all fired at the beginning of Trump's term, in his second term. Those are the primary watchdogs for protecting the American taxpayer from waste, fraud, and abuse of this kind. So why are we not calling in Pam Bondi and anybody else who might have had knowledge and input into the decision to fire these inspector generals, as well as their staffs? And so I guess I would propose an amendment to the amendment to the amendment that we have a hearing and subpoena Pam Bondi and others in this regard. Why would the inspector generals
Are you making an official motion to amend
Yes, I
the
am.
amendment? And what is your motion?
That we subpoena Pam Bondi
You are making a motion to subpoena Pam Bondi.
around, and anyone else with knowledge around the decisions and input on the decisions to fire and terminate the inspector generals.
Now, I want to remind you, they've called votes, and I have a feeling this is going to keep going on and on and on, but you've made a motion to amend
The amendment.
the amendment to the amendment.
Yep, sir.
Okay. Hold on, stand here.
The amendment tree is now.
Yeah, you can only do that twice. That's a parliamentary rule. That's how, okay. So you're done speaking. All right. Chair recognizes Mr. Donalds.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the committee recess, or call the committee, we want to call a question, just want to recess so we can go vote and come back and finish this out.
Okay, because we have votes
I'm
called.
flexible either way.
Right.
No,
I think that's a fair vote. They called votes about 10 minutes ago. So pursuant to the previous order, the committee will recess until immediately following the votes. The committee stands in recess. The committee will reconvene, and the chair recognizes Ms. Luna to talk about her motion that has been amended a couple of times. Chair recognizes Ms. Luna.
So in the name of avoiding watering down our initial amendment, I'm going to withdraw the initial motion. Chairman?
Okay. Without objection? So ordered. Okay. So now the chair recognizes Ms. Luna for Luna motion 3.
I think that was a Mace motion, sir. Oh, we're doing the next one, am I? Okay.
Okay, so, all right, we're going to go ahead and do,
Okay.
chair recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida for her third motion.
Yes, I do encourage all of my colleagues to support this. As you know, with what happened with recent events in Venezuela, there was a leak of classified information, as well as resulting in one of the journalists that obtained that information. And I will say credits to the news agencies for realizing that American lives could be put in jeopardy if this leaked information was published. They did put the kibosh on it, but after the fact, Seth Harp proceeded to dox the Delta Force commander, or a Delta Force commander associated or thinking that they were associated with the mission in Venezuela, resulting in his children and his family being harassed and targeted, not just by activists here in the United States, but potentially by narco-terrorists. I do encourage the entire committee to issue the subpoena of Seth Harp, as he should be held accountable for potentially leaking classified information and doxing service members, putting their lives and their family members at jeopardy by narco-terrorists.
Okay. So Ms. Luna's made that motion. Chair recognizes Mr. Garcia for an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment to the motion made by Representative Luna. And to make that amendment, I just want to say pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, the committee shall subpoena co-executors of the Epstein estate, Daryl Indyke and Richard Kahn, to sit for depositions before the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to explain the amendment.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I know, as you and so many others know, and certainly Ms. Luna is aware, Darren Indyke and Richard Kahn were Jeffrey Epstein's longtime lawyer and accountant. A few people know more about what Epstein did and who he met with, and certainly his crimes, than the co-executors and beneficiaries of Epstein's estate. We've heard directly from survivors, as we all know, about both of those gentlemen. And to get justice for the survivors, which I think all of us in this committee want to get, we certainly should hear from these two men. And with that, I'd like to both support Representative Luna's motion and make this amendment.
All right. Does anyone else seek recognition on the Garcia amendment to the Luna motion? Chair recognizes Ms. Luna.
I also encourage my colleagues to support this. These individuals could potentially give the Oversight Committee access to financial records and potentially name names.
Okay. Any other members seek recognition? Seeing, okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to speak to the amendment.
Okay, so go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, I think we all know in the military, it should be apolitical. If somebody saved your life on the battlefield, you wouldn't care if they were black or white, Democrat, Republican, independent, male or female. It should be apolitical. And some people risk their time, some people risk their money, but our men and women in the military oftentimes risk their life or give their life for our freedom. And doxing anyone in the military for any reason, it just goes against the founding principles of this country. It goes against everything that's great about our country, and it's totally wrong. And we should bring this guy in and hold him accountable.
Okay. Gentleman yields back. Any other members seek recognition? Seeing none, we're going to vote by voice on the Garcia amendment to the Luna motion. All those in favor of the Garcia amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the Garcia amendment to the Luna motion is agreed to. Now, would anyone want to discuss the Luna motion as amended?
I'd just like to add, Mr. Chair, that I support and certainly recommend House Democrats to support the Luna amendment.
Any other members seek recognition? Seeing none. All those in favor of the Luna motion as amended with the Garcia amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the motion is agreed to. The committee will now proceed with the Mace motion to subpoena the Department of... I'll recognize Ms. Mace to explain her motion.
Yes, this is to subpoena the immigration records of Ilhan Omar and her alleged brother husband and another husband whose names I cannot pronounce. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is the principal oversight committee of the U.S. House of Representatives and has broad authority to investigate any manner at any time under House Rule 10. And this particularly, the legislative thing that this would inform would identify reforms regarding immigration fraud and denaturalization processes, potential criminal liability, things that we need to address statutorily and legislatively. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Garcia to speak on the Mace amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment to the motion made by Representative Mace.
State your amendment.
At the end of the motion, I'd like to add, pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, the committee shall subpoena all documents and communications from the Department of Defense regarding the military service record of Representative Corey Mills of Florida.
Amen.
All documents, communications, and contracts from the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, of Interior, of Homeland Security, and Department of State related to Representative Corey Mills of Florida. And any business in which he or any relative has a financial or controlling interest, including Packham Defense, Packham Solutions International LLC, ALS LLC, and any documents and communications from the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, Ed Martin, in his personal capacity, and the White House regarding any communications around the February 2025 domestic violence incident in Washington, D.C. involving Representative Corey Mills of Florida. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to explain the amendment.
Mr. Garcia amended the Mace motion. Does any other member seek recognition?
I'd like to just comment on the motion.
Go ahead.
And then I can, if I can comment
I'll
on it after.
recognize Garcia, then Mace. Go ahead.
I just want to just begin by saying, broadly speaking, on the initial motion, Congresswoman Omar is a proud member of this body and an American, and as American as any member of this body. She's a public servant and a fighter for her constituents, and she represents the American dream. And I know I and House Democrats are honored and proud to support her and to serve with her. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has endured horrific attacks her entire time in public office, and we admire her courage. My motion requests documents on Corey Mills, a Republican from Florida, and I just want to note that this is not the best way of handling these types of issues, and we are introducing this only because this is being introduced on Representative Ilhan Omar, and so we are forced to make this motion and this amendment to Nancy Mace's, Representative Mace's, Nancy Mace's motion. And so with that, I conclude.
Gentleman yields back. Now, Chair recognizes Ms. Mace to speak on the Garcia amendment to her motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I support Representative Garcia's amendment, and you beat me to it. I was going to do this on the House Armed Services Committee, and I'm a little jealous that you beat me to it. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. It is the best sunshine, and if there are individuals, I don't care about party, I don't care about affiliation, this needs to be we need to get to the bottom of it and what's going on, and quite frankly, I don't think someone that allegedly is doing arms deals should be sitting on the Foreign Affairs Committee or the House Armed Services Committee. And if this is what gets to the bottom of what's happening over there, then I support it, and I support the amendment, and let's do it.
All right, you yield back. You yield to me. So I've had several members request information about trying to determine if Ms. Omar was involved in any of the Somali fraud and this and that. The thing that I've told people is the Ethics Committee is set up to do that. That's what the Ethics Committee's sole purpose is to investigate members. So we've got a motion by Mr. Garcia to amend Ms. Mace's motion. Both the amendment and the motion seek this committee to investigate sitting members of Congress. That's not something the Oversight Committee does, but we're a Democratic committee, and I'm not telling anybody in here how to vote. You vote however you want. But that's what the Ethics Committee role is. That's their jurisdiction. And I just wanted to state that. And again, look, I'm for whatever. I'm for transparency. You all vote the way you want. This committee's wired. You're going to vote the way you want anyway. I don't think the ranking member can tell his members how to vote, and I can't tell my members how to vote. I'm just telling you that's what the Ethics Committee's sole purpose in life is. So,
Mr. Chairman?
Just stating that.
On a point of order?
Mr. Chairman.
Let me add point of order. Which one do we want to? Mr. Lynch.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I believe you're correct in your assessment that that is not something within our jurisdiction. That would mean that that motion would be out of order, not subject to a vote, and let's do this anyway, even though it's not within our jurisdiction. That's a jurisdiction of another committee, and we normally and regularly refer matters that are not within our jurisdiction to other committees, and that's how that should be handled, sir. That's my thought.
The previous chairman of the, I'm going to respond to Mr. Lynch's inquiry. The previous chairwoman of the committee from New York, remind me, Maloney. She said the Oversight Committee has jurisdiction over anything and everything, and I kind of tend to believe that. But now the Ethics Committee has primary jurisdiction. There's no question about that. Now, do we have secondary jurisdiction? Possibly, probably, whatever. I'm not.
Mr. Chairman, under Rule 10, we have the ability. We have full oversight of the U.S. House of Representatives.
We can do pretty much what we want in this committee, but I just want to make it very clear, so we don't start going down this road, or this committee will just turn into, investigating other members, whoever's in control. That's what the Ethics Committee set up to do. I'm not, look, Ms. Mace, you can file any motion you want.
And it was covered up. We should find out. If someone married their brother to commit immigration fraud, we should find out. That's what this committee can do.
I understand.
Let's not defame members of Congress. Mr. Chairman, I just want to add to you, I just want to agree, first of all. I think Oversight Democrats, we don't believe either of these motions should be discussed. This is not the place to be going after members in this way. If there's a concern about a member, it should be at the Ethics Committee. But if members on the majority are going to go after members in our caucus, we're going to do the same. And so if the Republican majority wants to remove this amendment or vote this amendment down completely, we would join you on that. But what we're not going to do is allow the attack on one of our members.
And I'm not defending or opposing. I'm just saying that's what the Ethics
This is what we do up here. We just protect
recognizes
each other and protect our own, and nobody ever gets held accountable for anything up here. That's what this whole thing is BS.
It goes to the Ethics Committee.
Chair recognizes. We're going to vote on this. Everybody's going to vote on this. We're going to vote on this because there's been a motion amendment. We're going to vote on the amendment and the motion. I'm just saying that's what the Ethics Committee is supposed to do. Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are a few times that myself and Mr. Lynch agree on things. I think he would admit that, as I have. But on this occasion, I feel he is correct. And while this committee may have the jurisdiction to do all manner of things, I think this is a dangerous precedent to set. The Ethics Committee is set up specifically for this task, and I empathize with Representative Mace that it seems like there is no accountability over and over again, and maybe in the case of Representative Omar and Representative Mills, I might even feel that way. But we have a process here for a reason, and the Ethics Committee is set up the way it is for a reason so that there is equal representation in a place that is hyper-partisan over the smallest of things, and so that there is a due process where American citizens individuals in this body and serving members are treated fairly, that's why we have that committee. And if we're going to run members through a partisan committee, which all the other ones are set up to be so, I think that that's going to be something that we might enjoy the outcome of at the moment, but will not enjoy the outcome at some future time when we're in the minority. And so on this occasion, I agree with Mr. Lynch, and I would encourage the chair to render this motion out of order, and with my remaining time, I would cede some time to Mr. Lynch.
I thank the gentleman, and he's correct. We don't agree that often, but I respect the gentleman. The other piece is this: is that anyone in the public can make an allegation of any member here for any reason, political or personal or otherwise. And if we're going to debate allegations from the public against members on this committee, then you are just exposed to whatever anyone throws at you. And all you got to do is spend about 1 minute on social media and think about the cruelty and falsity that can be tossed against any member. And then what the gentle lady is saying is that we want to debate the merits and the veracity of those allegations against us here in an open committee, rather than having it go to the Ethics Committee, who will be able to vet those allegations, and then if they are meaningful, bring something before the entire body. But we open every member now and in the future to terrible exposure to your reputation if you're going to handle every single allegation here in open public, regardless of how credible that allegation against a member might be. I just think it's bad for the institution, and there's another process that has worked in the past. Thank you. I yield back to the gentleman.
And I yield, Mr. Chairman.
Who's got the floor? Mr. Perry?
I yield.
And we,
if you want to engage in a colloquy, absolutely.
I don't disagree with what Ms. Mace is trying to do. I don't disagree with what Mr. Garcia is trying to do. And I don't know, I have no idea what the Ethics Committee is doing on either of these. But I think it's disappointing that Ms. Omar wasn't here for the Minnesota Somali hearing. I mean, that's something I think she should have attended. And I think Mills should, answer questions on the House floor. I think they both, there are a lot of questions the American people have for both of them. So I'm just saying, that's what the Ethics Committee.
Mr. Chair, did you just refer to it as a Somali hearing?
Mr. Chairman, as long as, hold on,
it was a hearing on Minnesota. It was a hearing on Minnesota.
Somalians committed billions of dollars of fraud. It was a Somali hearing.
Somali fraud. There was Somali fraud. There were lots of Somali fraud allegations today.
Mr. Chairman, if we can continue our colloquy, you are the chairman of the committee, and you can make a ruling. Now, we might disagree with the ruling of the chair, but I would tell you it is my position and my recommendation, humbly and respectfully to the chair, that the chair should render this motion invalid. And if we want to challenge the ruling of the chair, then we can do that and have a vote on that. But I think this is of substance enough and import enough that we treat it with the gravity that Mr. Lynch and others have suggested, not only in this circumstance, feeling the same way you do, and in total honesty, quite honestly, the same way that Representative Mace does about whether this has been adjudicated appropriately or untimely or what have you. The point is this the place, is this the process to do those things? And I would agree with my colleagues on either side of the aisle that this is not the place to do what's being implied here in this motion. With that,
and to answer your question on ruling the chair, you asked the question. That was what Mr. Lynch started with. We can vote on whatever we want. In consulting with parliamentarian, we can vote for this. We can do this. I'm just saying. That's what the ethics.
I understand, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Mr. Garcia. Then
thank you. Let me. And I think we may have. There's a. I understand. First, I want to also associate myself with the comments that were just made, and I particularly with Representative Lynch. I think again, this is not the appropriate place for this, and we have filed the substitute motion because of the main motion that was filed. What I'd like to do at this time is I'm going to withdraw my motion and instead do a motion to table, the Mace motion. And if that motion does not pass successfully, then I will bring my substitute motion on Representative Mills back to the floor. But now we have an opportunity with this additional amendment. I'm withdrawing the Mills amendment, and my new motion amendment is to table the initial Mace motion. I hope everyone votes yes on that. I think that solves the issues that a majority of us are trying to solve, and we can move on to the next item. And so that is the new motion.
So Mr. Garcia made a motion to table. That's not debatable.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question.
It's not debatable, I'm sorry.
It's not
But
about
state your request. You're a good member.
I just have a question. and
do it quick, because it's not debatable, but he will go ahead.
Well, this is not about the motion to table. It's about, under the Ethics Committee, if they find evidence against a member, they can make recommendations for censure, for removal. If we were to conduct something like that here, what power does this committee have? Is it the same power as the Ethics Committee? I really agree with Mr. Perry, Mr. Lynch, that this might be a bridge too far. And if we're going to do this, then we need to know what the consequences are going forward for any other member who might, including a member of this committee, who might have issues raised. How far does this go?
Okay. All right.
Other than just, a public trial. I'll yield back.
All right. So all those in favor of the motion to table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to table is agreed to. Is there any other business which needs to come before the committee? Oh, okay. Yeah, Chair recognizes Mr. Higgins, and then we'll recognize
Chairman, I
Mr.
had
Preston.
sought recognition.
Go ahead. You are recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I had endeavored to remain silent, but I'm compelled to clarify for the citizenry watching and to remind my colleagues. Let me just ask you, Mr. Chairman, you're chairman of the Oversight Committee. Does this committee enjoy and do you possess the power to subpoena?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Does that authority to subpoena require a vote by this entire committee or debate regarding votes for subpoena of material or people? Thank you. So we are a serious investigative committee body. And yet we are presenting to the American people the concept that this is our subpoena procedure, that a member has to present a motion and there has to be a vote and absurd debate back and forth. We determine whether or not a subpoena is issued in the Oversight Committee. I think it's insulting to the seriousness of the work that we do and that the staff of this committee performs every day. Every day. And seeking a subpoena, might I add, let me just put this out there, it's a furtherance of compulsion. Listen to your Uncle Clay, America. You don't just normally start out with a subpoena introduced as a vote by a member on a guy. This poor guy, Seth Harper, I don't know who he is. I had to Google him. We haven't reached out to him and asked him to come before this committee, and he said no. That's normally the first step. You call and email, you have an official communication from the committee reaching out to an American citizen, say, we'd like to talk to you, and as part of our legislative purpose, we're conducting investigative work, you're included, will you come talk to us? Then if they say no, you take the next step, which is usually a more strongly worded letter, and then you get to the point where you can rightfully use your subpoena authority in a judicious and conservative manner. And yet, because of the behavior of this committee in recent months, it has been presented to the American people via C-SPAN that the way we pursue a subpoena in this committee is by the introduction of a motion for a vote to subpoena something or someone. That's not the way it's done. Mr. Chairman, I'm voting no on all of this because I object to this process that is false and not reflective of the serious investigative work that the Oversight Committee performs day in and day out. And I yield to the chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Clay. Very well said. Very well said. Chair recognizes Ms. Presley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My motion. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My motion to subpoena is pretty straightforward. It's timely and also germane. It's the only subpoena that is relevant to today's hearing. Earlier today, a woman was shot multiple times and killed by immigration enforcement agents in Minnesota while we were holding a hearing on the state. And while there are claims that ICE did nothing wrong, the officials in Minnesota say otherwise. And since this committee is responsible for oversight of federal law enforcement, we must investigate. This subpoena will help us get to the truth, and it should have bipartisan support. And I urge my colleagues to vote yes.
All right, gentlelady yields back. Any other members seek recognition on the Presley?
Yes.
Who said? Do we have anybody on our side? Okay, Mr. Ranking Member, and then I'll go to.
Thank you. I'll actually I just want to add that I obviously support the Presley motion. I think it's relevant to today's conversation, so I want to thank her for the motion. I want to yield the rest of my time to Congressman Krishnamurthy, please.
I just wanted to give a little context to Ms. Presley's excellent motion for those who haven't had a chance to see this video. This video from Minnesota is deeply, deeply disturbing. It shows a federal immigration enforcement operation on a residential street in South Minneapolis where families live. Agents move in on a civilian vehicle, weapons are drawn, the car is boxed in, shots are fired, a woman is struck and dies, and if you look at the video, you can see that the officer actually shoots the woman point blank in front of the windshield. The footage does not show an unavoidable imminent threat or that lethal force was the only option. From what can be seen, the woman was trying to drive away. That raises serious questions about judgment and de-escalation. A woman is dead. Her family now carries a permanent loss. This should never have happened. When federal agents use deadly force, the burden of justification is extraordinarily high, regardless of the mission. Oversight requires sworn testimony. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem must appear before this committee. I will press to subpoena Secretary Noem and force a vote again and again until she explains on the record why a woman is dead following a federal operation captured on video in a residential neighborhood. If Secretary Noem has nothing to hide, she should have nothing to fear from testifying before this committee. I hope she will come before this committee voluntarily. This committee must do its duty. Thank you, and I yield back.
Yield back. Any other members seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognize Mr. Gosar, and then I'll get to Clay.
Yeah, I think the error of what the gentleman is talking about is good, but I think it has to be across the board. And what I mean by that is that there were instigating factors by the mayor that antagonized the situation, and anybody that, if it was found that there's innocence here, then we should presume everybody's innocent until proven guilty, that they also are on the line. That they combatively took on the police, or not just the police, but the oversight, the folks from immigration, they should be charged as well. So I think it should be open all the way across the board so that it's equal and adjudicated.
Do you yield to Mr. Higgins? Would you yield to Mr. Higgins?
Do you yield?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I thank my colleague, Mr. Chairman. The split-second decisions that an officer has to make on the street, man, everything's on the line, literally. And whereas I fully support a thorough investigation of this officer-involved shooting and every officer-involved shooting, I ask my colleagues to back up from this request, and I'm going to oppose this motion, but actually I think it should be withdrawn, because I ask that my colleagues look at this motion within the context of what you're actually asking for. You're asking for a slice of evidence void of the full spectrum of the required investigation. This is the sort of thing that we should absolutely, as a republic well-rooted in criminal justice procedure over the course of 250 years of learning and growing and developing as a nation regarding protection of the innocent, which is every American accused of a crime until proven guilty. And the process for investigation should be thorough and slow and calm. And here we are again. We're leaning towards show me the video.
Will the gentleman yield for a question?
I will close by saying I'm going to yield my time back to Mr. Gosar. But I'll close the time that's been yielded to me by saying maybe I'm the only guy in here.
Would you yield for a question, Mr. Higgins?
No, madam. The time was yielded to me.
Just a question to you.
Please respect that. You could be recognized. But when you're recognized, you can ask me a question. I'm happy to answer it.
Okay.
Maybe I'm the only guy in here that has brought many people in the back of my squad car to jail to be booked, did the initial arrest. It was not uncommon. Hear me, my colleagues. It was not uncommon from the back seat of my unit. It would say, show me the video, man. Show me the proof, man. And I would say, sir, this is the arrest part. Later comes the trial part, and you'll have a shot to look at all the evidence that the prosecution has. So we're falling into that category of being too quick and cute for our own good here. We should allow the investigative authority under thorough and complete and vigorous oversight by Congress, yes, but not to the extent that we're interfering with the investigative authority by voting and mandating that evidence of an investigation, a small slice of it, be presented for public purview. We should be calm and judicious, and I yield the time that was kindly yielded to me back to Mr. Gosar.
I thank the gentleman, and I move to table the motion.
Mr. Chairman, can I speak on the motion?
Not debatable. Motion has been made by Mr. Gosar of tabling the Presley motion. All those in favor of tabling signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to table is agreed to.
Can we get a recorded vote on this?
Recorded vote has been ordered. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Jordan? Yes. Mr. Jordan votes yes. Mr. Turner? Mr. Gosar?
Yes.
Mr. Gosar votes yes. Ms. Fox? Mr. Grothman?
Yes.
Mr. Grothman votes yes. Mr. Cloud? Mr. Cloud votes yes. Mr. Palmer?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Palmer votes yes. Mr. Higgins? Mr. Higgins votes yes. Mr. Sessions? Mr. Sessions votes yes. Mr. Biggs? Mr. Biggs votes aye. Ms. Mace?
No.
Ms. Mace votes no. Mr. Fallon?
Aye.
Mr. Fallon votes aye. Mr. Donalds? Mr. Perry? Mr. Perry votes aye. Mr. Timmons? Mr. Timmons votes aye. Mr. Burchett? Mr. Burchett votes aye. Ms. Boebert?
Aye.
Ms. Boebert votes aye. Ms. Luna? Mr. Langworthy? Mr. Burleson? Mr. Burleson votes aye. Mr. Crane? Mr. Crane votes aye. Mr. Jack?
Aye.
Mr. Jack votes aye. Mr. McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. McGuire votes aye. Mr. Gill? Mr. Gill votes aye. Mr. Garcia?
No.
Mr. Garcia votes no. Ms. Norton?
No.
Ms. Norton votes no. Mr. Lynch?
No.
Mr. Lynch votes no. Mr. Krishnamurthy?
No.
Mr. Krishnamurthy votes no. Mr. Khanna?
No.
Mr. Khanna votes no. Mr. Mfume?
No.
Mr. Mfume votes no. Ms. Brown? Ms. Stansbury? Ms. Stansbury votes no. Mr. Frost?
No.
Mr. Frost votes no. Ms. Lee? Ms. Lee votes no. Mr. Kassar? Mr. Kassar votes no. Ms. Crockett? Ms. Crockett votes no. Ms. Randall?
No.
Ms. Randall votes no. Mr. Subramaniam? Mr. Subramaniam votes no. Ms. Ansari?
No.
Ms. Ansari votes no. Mr. Bell?
No.
Mr. Bell votes no. Ms. Simon?
No.
Ms. Simon votes no. Mr. Min?
No.
Mr. Min votes no. Mr. Walkinshaw? Mr. Walkinshaw votes no. Ms. Presley? Ms. Presley votes no. Ms. Tlaib? Ms. Tlaib votes no. Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman votes yes.
Has any member not voted, or any member wish to change your vote? Seeing none, will the clerk tally the vote?
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 19, the nays are 21.
The motion to table fails, and we will proceed to, I assume, vote unless people want to debate this more.
Mr. Chair.
Chair, any other members seek recognition?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Fallon, go ahead.
Chairman, I'll be very brief because it's been a long day for all of us. Listen, I'm all for transparency. This incident, as the member from Massachusetts said, this isn't, it just happened today. I'd like to give DHS a chance to release anything related to this. This is a very serious matter. I've only seen one video myself. I've heard that there's other angles. So I'd like to see the process play out. And this is, I think this is out of order and it's not our role. So I agree, yes, that we need to learn the truth and see all the evidence, but I'm going to trust the process. And I yield back.
Mr. Chairman.
Do you yield to Ms. Mace? Yes.
I yield to Ms. Mace.
And I'll be fairly quick. I support the subpoena. After the first two videos went viral, there was a third video that appeared to show the ICE agent being struck by the vehicle. My understanding, he is in the hospital now. And so I think getting it out there on what happened, again, sunlight is the best disinfectant. But I also want to recognize, as I'm supporting this subpoena, why this happened, why we're here today is because for years now, ICE agents, police officers, conservatives, Republicans have been dehumanized. ICE agents have been called Nazis, fascists. Today we heard the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, literally try to incite violence and a riot and war against the federal government today. You heard the mayor of Minneapolis drop the F-bomb. And so when I hear my colleagues across the other side of the aisle talk about judgment and de-escalation, we are the ones that have been judged. ICE officers have been judged. The de-escalation isn't happening. This violent rhetoric is causing violence, and people feel emboldened to be violent. The other thing I wanted to mention is that today, Kristi Noem, bring her to the committee. I support that. She did address this today, what happened in public. It was one of the first things she talked about this afternoon, right after it happened. I believe within an hour or two, she very publicly provided an answer that was very clear and detailed on what happened and why. But I would encourage everyone to think about why we're here today. I mean, and this kind of rhetoric has just got to stop, but release it all. Release all the camera footage, body cam. I'm all for it, and I'll be voting for it. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair recognizes. Okay. Recognize ranking member, then we'll go to Burchett.
Thank you. No, I was just going to say that obviously the motion to table didn't go through, and Oversight Democrats are ready to vote on the motion.
You want to? All right. Burchett.
Point of clarification, what exactly are we voting on?
We're voting on a motion to subpoena, a Presley motion to subpoena the Department of Homeland Security for all documents and footage related to the murder of a woman by ICE in Minneapolis, Minnesota today.
Mr. Chairman, I want to clarify that word.
Go ahead.
The death of a woman.
Well, it says murder on the motion.
Okay, well.
And Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Question. Questions.
Mr. Chair, I just want to be clear because I'm not sure if it's stated in the motion and you failed to read it, but I would like the record to reflect that the woman who was killed, her name is Renee Nicole Good, so that hopefully we won't have any confusion about.
It's not in the motion, but question's been called for. We're going to vote on this. The clerk call the roll.
Mr. Jordan.
No. Thank you.
Mr. Jordan votes no. Mr. Turner. Mr. Gosar. No. Mr. Gosar votes no. Ms. Fox. Mr. Grothman. Mr. Grothman votes no. Mr. Cloud. Mr. Cloud votes no. Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer votes no. Mr. Higgins. Mr. Higgins. Mr. Higgins votes no. Mr. Sessions. Mr. Sessions votes no. Mr. Biggs.
No.
Mr. Biggs votes no. Ms. Mace.
I didn't realize it said murder. I'm a no. This was not murder.
Ms. Mace votes no. Mr. Fallon?
Nay.
Mr. Fallon votes nay. Mr. Donalds? Mr. Perry?
No.
Mr. Perry votes no. Mr. Timmons?
No.
Mr. Timmons votes no. Mr. Burchett? Mr. Burchett votes no. Ms. Boebert? Ms. Boebert votes no. Ms. Luna? Mr. Langworthy? Mr. Burleson? Mr. Burleson votes no. Mr. Crane? Mr. Crane votes no. Mr. Jack?
No.
Mr. Jack votes no. Mr. McGill?
Water.
Excuse me, Mr. McGuire?
No.
Mr. McGuire votes no. Mr. Gill? Mr. Gill votes no. Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia votes yes. Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Norton votes yes. Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch votes yes. Mr. Krishnamurthy? Mr. Krishnamurthy votes yes. Mr. Khanna?
Yes.
Mr. Khanna votes yes. Mr. Mfume?
Yes.
Mr. Mfume votes yes. Ms. Brown? Ms. Stansbury? Ms. Stansbury votes yes. Mr. Frost?
Yes.
Mr. Frost votes yes. Ms. Lee? Ms. Lee votes yes. Mr. Kassar?
Yes.
Mr. Kassar votes yes. Ms. Crockett? Ms. Crockett votes yes. Ms. Randall? Ms. Randall votes yes. Mr. Subramaniam? Mr. Subramaniam votes yes. Ms. Ansari?
Yes.
Ms. Ansari votes yes. Mr. Bell? Mr. Bell votes yes. Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Simon votes yes. Mr. Min? Mr. Min votes yes. Mr. Walkinshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Walkinshaw votes yes. Ms. Presley? Ms. Presley votes yes. Ms. Tlaib?
Yes.
Ms. Tlaib votes yes. Mr. Chairman?
No.
Mr. Chairman votes no.
Does any other member wish to vote? If not, any member wish to change your vote? Seeing none, the clerk will tally the vote.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 20, the nays are 20.
It is a tie, so the motion fails. Does any other member have any business before the committee? Seeing none, with that and without objection, all members have 5 legislative days within which to submit materials and additional written questions for the witnesses, which will be forwarded to the witnesses. If there are no further business, without objection, the committee stands adjourned.
Thanks guys. Appreciate it.